My best friend broke up with his fiancée after she accused us of cheating and demanded he choose her over me. Now I feel guilty for causing their breakup and want to put them back together. Posted by you/Pelican Dom. Hey all, so, here's the backstory. I, 23F, have been best friends with this guy we'll call Troy, 23M, since we were in 8th grade. All throughout high school, we hung out together with our other mutual best friend, Adam. The three of us spent a lot of time together and did nearly everything as a group. In high school, we experienced our fair share of losses and trauma. At one point, both Adam and Troy stayed at my house for a couple of months before college due to issues at home. This brought us closer than usual friends because we learned to lean on each other so much. Fast forward to college, and all three of us attended different schools, but we continued FaceTiming each other every other day. Leaving our families and each other was rough, and we had developed a kind of codependency in high school. Our frequent communication only reinforced that, but it was how we coped. Come sophomore year, Troy started dating his now fiancée, Emily, 22F. They got along well and made a great couple, and I was very happy for them. From the start, Troy made it clear that I was just a friend and that he shared everything with both Adam and me. As far as I knew, Emily was fine with that at the time. It wasn't uncommon for us to hear about his relationship problems and arguments. When Adam and I visited Troy and met Emily for the first time, she was very kind, although a little awkward, which was understandable. During our visits, Troy would often ignore her to hang out with us exclusively. We pointed this out to him, but he dismissed it, saying he saw her every day, while he saw us maybe once every 6 months. I let it slide because it wasn't my place to interfere. However, I think those visits and his neglect of her started to create her bitterness toward me. Years passed, and now they're engaged. Adam was chosen as the best man, and I'm supposed to be a groomsman in the wedding. A few months ago, our best friend Adam unexpectedly committed suicide. Troy and I were, and still are, devastated. It came out of nowhere, and we blame ourselves, even though we know it's not our fault. I live alone in an apartment and expressed to Troy that I was feeling distressed and lonely, especially due to the COVID lockdown. Troy dropped everything to come live with me for a few weeks so we could process our grief together. We've both been attending therapy for grief. A week ago, Troy got a call from Emily, who said she wanted him back at their apartment because she didn't trust him being with me. She accused him of cheating on her with me and said he should be choosing her over me. Troy got upset and told her that he was grieving and she didn't understand what he was going through, but I did. It escalated to the point where Emily gave him an ultimatum: choose me or her. Troy told her it was unfair to make him choose between two important people in his life and that if she couldn't understand his need for support, maybe they weren't meant to be together. She was hurt by his response and told him she needed time to cool off and think. They hung up. Today, Emily texted me, asking if I had feelings for him. I told her no. She then called and asked if I loved him, and I said yes, but as a brother. I explained that I'd do anything for Troy. She told me that if I truly loved him, I would step back and let her have him. I told her this was a conversation she needed to have with him and that I was tired of being in the middle of it. She got angry, hung up on me, and I immediately told Troy about our conversation. Troy called her and broke up with her. I think his decision was hasty and emotional, and I'm trying to talk him out of it, but I'm not sure what else I can do. Can you all give me some advice? I feel like this is my fault for asking him to come stay with me. Edit. Hey all, it's been a few hours since I posted this, and I didn't expect to get so many responses. Thank you all for your input, it's really helped me gain some perspective. I've been told that my relationships with both Troy and Adam were detrimental to my other relationships, and I was taking steps to fix that. However, with Adam's death and the stress of COVID, all the lessons I'd been learning kind of flew out the window. That's no excuse for how I've been behaving. Troy is a dear friend, and I've been unknowingly sabotaging his relationships with other people. That's not fair to him or to the people in his life. I've also considered Emily a friend since I met her, but I haven't been a good friend to her either. Since I posted this, Troy broke down about his breakup and said he regrets breaking up with her. He texted her, and they agreed to try to talk things out in a couple of days after they've both had time to process everything. I showed Troy this thread, and he got to hear what you all were saying too, so hopefully, that helps. He and I agreed that we need some space apart, so he'll stay at my apartment, and I'm staying on a coworker's couch. Again, thank you all for your input, both to those who supported me and to those who called Troy and me out on our behavior. Hopefully, with continued therapy and eventual boundaries, we can maintain a healthy friendship and also have healthy relationships with others. Update 12 days later. Hey all, I thought I'd give you an update on what's happened since I made my first post here. A few hours after Troy broke up with Emily, he broke down in tears and was miserable. He regretted breaking up with her and texted her. They both agreed to talk after a few days once they had the chance to cool off and think things through. I also texted Emily after I got some advice from a DM and apologized for everything and for how I may have hurt her. She replied with a simple thanks, and that was it, but that was all right. I needed to apologize to her. That evening, Troy and I went over the comments from the original post and talked with each other. He and I agreed we needed some space, so that night I called up a coworker and asked if I could crash on their couch for a few days. They agreed, so Troy stayed at my apartment, and I went to my coworker's place. We didn't talk for 5 days to give each other space. That was really hard for me because I kept overthinking that Troy hated me and didn't want me in his life anymore. I was convinced I was going to lose him, and that made me miserable because we had just lost Adam. But that was just my anxiety speaking. After a few days, Troy called me and said he had spoken with Emily, and they were back together. I was so happy for them and relieved. I wanted to ask for details, but I figured I had stuck my nose into their relationship enough as it was, so I didn't ask, and Troy didn't say anything. He told me I should come back to the apartment, and I asked if Emily was all right with that. He said yes, so I moved back into my apartment. When I got back, I asked him if he was going to return to his apartment with Emily, but he said no due to COVID, so he'll be staying with me for at least the next few weeks. Having had several days apart with no communication was something new for us, so when we were together again, we talked about everything we'd been thinking about. We talked about how much we missed Adam, what we could have done to help him, and the guilt we were both holding on to. It also came out that Troy had rushed to my side when I asked him to because he was afraid I was suicidal and didn't want to lose me either. I felt really guilty about that. I scared Troy, and that was never my intention. Then we started talking about all the memories we had with Adam, and that was really uplifting, even though we were crying the whole time. I also told him how nervous I was during our time apart, and he said he felt the same way. We laughed about it and agreed we need to work on our independence from each other. The next day, I got a call from Emily and answered it. She wanted to apologize for assuming I was with Troy and to talk about the text I had sent her. She and I had an emotional talk for a couple of hours, but eventually, we understood where the other was coming from. She mentioned that she often thought Adam and I didn't like her, but that was only because we hadn't properly included her whenever we were with Troy. By the end of the talk, we agreed we should communicate more since Troy is significant to both of us. It was good to talk with her and clear everything up. She's a super sweet and considerate woman, and I think she's perfect for Troy. I'd love to be her friend too. Troy and I are going to therapy and working on our codependence and grief counseling in separate sessions. I've also started looking into a codependence group and think I'll start attending those meetings. Since there's only one in town, Troy isn't going to join because we don't want to go to the same one. Emily also mentioned that she and Troy are going to start couples therapy, so that's what they'll be doing once he moves back in with her. So that's the update. Emily and Troy are back together, Troy will be staying with me for the next few weeks, and Emily and I have started building our friendship. Hopefully, from here on out, there will be more communication between them and better boundaries between Troy and me. Troy and I are willing to put in the effort, and Emily is supportive of us, so I'm optimistic. I'm sure Adam would be happy that we're moving forward together. If you all have any more advice or words of encouragement, I'd love to hear them. Thank you all for your help with the initial post. I don't think this situation would be getting better if you all hadn't helped Troy and me open our eyes. Edit. Wow, I did not expect the amount of hatred this update post would receive. I thought the situation had resolved itself positively. You all want Troy out of my apartment right away, though. So, I told him that he should head home as soon as possible to be with Emily, and he admitted that he did not want to go back to Florida because of the increase in coronavirus cases and that he liked the relatively relaxed state of things here in my state. I told him he was being paranoid and that he would be alright if he quarantined once he got back, not the most sympathetic thing I could have said. But since he works from home anyway, he can quarantine without any issues. He called Emily, and they bought a plane ticket for him to head back in 3 days, so he's leaving. Emily is excited to have him back, and I'm glad they can be together again.